The winemaking is traditional, although people used to say that the wines used to be more modern these days. To be honest, I don't think so. The young winemakers who are taking over right now from their fathers, they are more aware of the quality of the grapes they get in. They separate grapes, they try to make new cuvées with an own identity, and they do a better selective picking, or they go back in the vineyard. To be honest, and with respect, the old generation, they just harvest everything, put together in a vat, and in December they check, okay, it's good. I think this is a good tendency in a way when you do not commercialize. And I think the Chardonnay de Papa winemakers are honest in this. They do not get the money from the high-end cuvées like the Da Capo, who are going for $300, $400, $500. They go off from domain $40, $50 or on average. So the winemakers do not get the money. It's about availability. The problem with these cuvées is really that when it gets a high rating, everybody runs after it, drives the price up, and there are only 3,000 bottles. For instance, the Pure, the lovely wine made from vines 120-year-old, 100% Grenache, is such a wine. Only 3,000, 3,500 bottles are made. So if you see that, or if you project that in the world, that's so tiny. So I think that's in general a problem, but still, whenever you get a chance and you want to treat yourself, give a special treat, or your wife or your partner, it's worth the money. It's worth the momentum, but only if you decide before. And you say, okay, let's try this, and be open-minded, forget about the money, and you will have, I think, a unique experience. You know, very special wines, very special. Because destemming is part of, people say they do destem, taking stems out of the grapes, the bunches where they are, means that you have lesser green flavors that can come from unripe stems. And they think that this is a modern sign. It's partly true, but already in 1900 they did destemming with special tools in the vineyard. So they already did totally destem in the vineyard, and I had several old wines from 1900, 10, 20, 30 that were totally destemmed and are still singing. So what's the truth? Is it, for me, it's not modern in that way. I think this is part of the philosophy that winemakers are more after upfront fruit. A wine should taste like, like coming from a berry, a grape berry, and not liquid oak or, the vanilla, or I have nothing against oak or the upbringing in general. When you think, okay, I think this is right, okay, you have my blessing. But in general, I think when you are looking for a drink that's hedonistic, I think that the first thing you're asking for is fruit. The fruit, the grape produces juice, and it should taste primarily like juice. And secondary, you can add everything, but I think that's a very important thing, because people sometimes forget where wine is about. It's coming from the grapes. You see the winemaking, you have several types of storage. Concrete tank, and in the middle you have the modern fooder, stainless steel, This is an old shabby wine cellar. Shabby in a way that you think, do you really think that something decent is coming from this wine cellar? This is one of the most famous winemakers, Henri Bonneau. The picture of his wine cellar. And, sometimes I tell people that they should watch what's written on the left below barrel, small one. It's written propre. So when you have a picture of the whole cellar, I did not put a picture because it looks really shabby. And you see that propre. It's all about what's in the vessel, in the barrel, not the outside. It's about the wine. And he makes what you ever had a chance, because these wines are very rare, he makes one of the most hedonistic wines you can imagine. Unbelievable. New oak. Some producers use substantial new oak. Again, I do not have anything against new oak or old oak or whatever, as long as it doesn't dominate in a way that there is no balance, or in a way I do not like it. That's too much. That's where in 2 days I will be in Napa Valley. That's for me the center of it could be called Oak Valley. I brought 12 bottles of old Chateauneuf du Pape for the winemakers there. I will have an event there, and old Chateauneuf 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And I want to show there, and all these wines do not have any oak. I was in December was in New York. I'm very happy not in New York and at the East Coast now, because actually my schedule was first the East Coast, so I'm very happy I cancelled that. We were sitting in a setting of some wine geeks, and one of them really admired big wines and oaky and not oaky enough, big oak. And I took a bottle. I had a bottle with me, Chateauneuf du Pape, and we had all these big wines, Synchronon, you name it. And I poured the bottle and said, "Wow, great wine, great, it's very interesting, complex. The oak is very well integrated. There's a little bit of oak, but." I said, "I'm sorry, but there's no oak at all in this wine. It's coming from concrete." So you missed the oak? Or did you create the oak yourself? You see, people are so after the thing that they think that this is the only way you go. When you're narrow-minded, one time you will be punished. I can tell you. And then it was his time. So he felt embarrassed, and it became the wine of the evening. And it was a 2007 Chavet, for you to know. Romantic wine cellar, very old, historical, at Nalis, beautiful. Many bottles. They keep the bottles in general. The bigger producers, they store the bottles after bottling, depending on 6 months up to 1 year before they go out for sale. Clos des Papes. Clos des Papes is a very famous producer. He has about 55 distributors all over the world, and is a very constant producer in quality. And this is me in Dallas. I cannot imagine I was so, laughing with just one glass. They're full. So let's see what's the time. Okay, now.